Hello class, welcome back. Today we're talking about dividing decimals. This is our 5th lesson of Unit 1. Let's begin by reviewing your homework. At this time, please take out your homework from last night. For problem number 1, A, it's greater because you are multiplying it by a whole number. Part B, it's less than because you are multiplying it by a number less than 1. Number 2A, less than because you are multiplying it by a number less than 1, and 2b, it's greater because you're multiplying it by a number greater than 1. For part 3, A is 42.27, B is 472.7, C is 14.5, D is 3,260. In number 4, you add the number of decimal places in the factors to get the number of decimal places in the product. It is now time for you to take your first quiz. You need to go see your teacher for a copy of the Day 6 quiz. You're going to complete the paper copy first, and then you're going to enter your answers online. Once you finish entering your answers online, take it back to your teacher, and then you're going to resume playing this video so that you can work on the dividing decimals notes. So go ahead and pause the video while you go complete your quiz. And when you're finished entering your answers online in Blackboard, you can come back to this video. Good luck! Now that you completed your quiz, we're going to talk about dividing decimals. Think of dividing decimals as you would dividing whole numbers. We're going to take, for example, 3/10 divided by 6/100. 3/10 is my dividend, 6/100 is my divisor. So I'm going to shade in 3/10. I'm going to ask myself, how many 6/100 can I get out of 3/10? And so now I'm going to divide them up into 6/100. So I'm going to circle groups of 6/100. So here's 6, here's 6, here's 6, here's 6, and here's 6. So now I count out my groups. How many groups do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. So my quotient is 5. So 3/10 divided by 6/100 equals 5. Now let's take the same problem that I just modeled, 3/10 divided by 6/100, and let's divide it using algebraic method. So the first number always goes inside the house. The first number is your dividend. The second number goes on the outside the house. And this is called your divisor. Now you cannot have a decimal on the outside. So you swoop it to make it a whole number. So I swoop it 2 times and it becomes a 6. And whatever I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside. So if I swooped it 2 places on the outside, I swoop it 2 places on the inside. I add in my 0, and I rewrite the problem. So now I have 30 divided by 6. And so now I divide. 6 divided by 30, 30 divided by 6 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. I subtract, which is 0. So my answer is 5. Now by swooping it, it's the same as multiplying it by 10 each time. So if I multiply it by 10, that would get me to 0.6. If I multiply it by 100, that would get me to 6. So if I multiply it by 100 on the outside, I multiply the inside by 100 as well, which would get me 30. But the shortcut method is just by swooping the decimal. At this time, please turn to this page in your packet. Again, here is the steps listed out. Step 1, you make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. Move the decimal point in the dividend by the same number of hops. This is the same as multiplying both numbers by 10. Place the decimal point in the answer lined up with decimal point in the dividend. Divide the numbers and be sure that the decimal points remain lined up. And now let's do a couple practice problems together. Number 1, 23 and 8/10 divided by 7. The first number always goes inside the house. The second number goes on the outside. Now remember, the number on the outside has to be a whole number. So in this case, 7 is a whole number, so we can continue to divide. First, we need to move the decimal straight up. Okay, now let's divide. 7 goes into 23 3 times. We multiply. 3 times 7 is 21. We subtract, which is 2. And now we bring down the 8. 7 goes into 28 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. So our answer is 0. So now the quotient, 23 divided by 8, 23.8 divided by 7 equals 3.4. Okay, let's do number 2. 40 and 32/100 divided by 8/10. The first number goes inside the house. The second number goes on the outside. Now we can't have a decimal on the outside, so we have to make it a whole number. So we're going to swoop it one time to make it 8, and we rewrite it. And so whatever we do on the outside, we have to do to the inside, so we swoop it one time, and we rewrite it. So now we're going to be dividing 403 and 2/10 divided by 8. Now go ahead and move the decimal straight up in your quotient. And now you divide. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. You subtract, which is 0, and you bring down the 3. 8 goes into 3 0 times, and this is where I see a lot of students making their mistakes because they forget to put the 0 in. So make sure you put the 0 in the quotient. And then you multiply. 0 times 8 is 0. You subtract, which is 3, and now you bring down the 2. 8 goes into 32 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. You subtract, which is 0. And so now you have your answer. 40 and 32/100 divided by 8/10 is equal to 50 and 4/10. Now let's try one more problem. Let's take 18/100 and divide it by 2/1000. The first number always goes inside the house. I have 18/100 divided by 2/1000. Now you can't have a decimal on the outside, so you have to swoop it to make a whole number. We're going to swoop it 1, 2, 3 times. And then if you swoop it 3 times on the outside, you have to swoop it 3 times on the inside. 1, 2, 3. Now add in your 0. So we have 180. Decimal and bring it up. So now we have 180 divided by 2. And you go ahead and divide. 2 goes into 18 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18. Subtract, which is 0. Bring down your 0. And 2 goes into 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract, which is 0. And so now your answer is 90. Now I want you to complete the last 2 problems on your own. Please pause the video to complete the problems. When you're finished, You can play it again and you will receive the answers on the next slide. Now check your answers. The answer to number 2 is 29 hundredths. The answer to number 3 is 18 3/10. Your homework for tonight is to complete these 9 dividing decimals practice problems. Good luck and have a great day.